The era of the Airbnb is done, it's through. It was fun while it lasted.
Oh, I am so here for the canceling of Airbnb for so many reasons.
So my first beef is that it's actually not that much cheaper than a hotel.
I wear a cross necklace to the club because I party in the name of the Lord.
Wow, the Airbnb hate on TikTok is just absolutely crazy, and people are so angry on there that Airbnb is more expensive than a hotel. So I wanted to talk about today why Airbnbs are more expensive than hotels. And if you stick around until the very end of the video, then you'll see that they're really not. Let's start off today's video by talking about Airbnb and the premise that they started on, and that is that back in the day, they were really capitalizing on the idea of couch surfing, where people would list their spaces on Airbnb and say, hey, I've got this extra couch, I've got this bedroom, I've got this murder closet, whatever, you can come stay in my house and it's gonna be like 30 bucks a night. And the actual name Airbnb is derived from the concept of an air mattress bed and breakfast. Traditionally, a bed and breakfast is kind of like a residential hotel, if you will, a giant home with 10, 15 rooms. I mean, they can be smaller than that. And you go and you rent it and there's an innkeeper in there and then they like listen through the door at all the activities that you do in your room, and then you open it and you're like, oh God, and they're like, yes, can I get you some tea?
Shall I show you to your room?
Oh, no,
Clumsy. Look, you got the panties.
And that was what a B&B was. And so Airbnb introduced the concept of basically letting strangers stay in your home and pay you to do so. And it was chill. It really was. This was the golden era of Airbnb. I didn't get to participate in this, but I'm really jealous because it really was a wild west of short-term rentals. But I did get to participate in the next wave of that, where it wasn't quite the, you know, the shitty couch, the stained couch, the nasty crunchy carpets or anything like that. And it was really people sharing the extra spaces in their home and actually trying to make that a quality stay for guests. Or really more where I got started, where I had this extra apartment and I said, hey, I'm just gonna list this on Airbnb. Or if someone had an extra condo or a second home that was just collecting dust and they were paying the mortgage payments on it, they said, hey, I'm gonna list this on Airbnb. And in a lot of capacities, I really miss those days. I really do, because there was a certain camaraderie between the hosts and the guests. This new platform had come to light. It was a really cheap alternative, admittedly, back in the day, where people could say, hey, I'm gonna stay here, and it's like no big deal. And the reason it was so cheap is because it was shitty. I mean, that's really what it was. When people got started, the whole idea of 5-star stays were obviously important because you had a rating with your Airbnb, but people were so flexible with the concept of Airbnb. And so over time, Airbnbs have just naturally become nicer and nicer and nicer stays. And there are certain expectations now from guests, you know, for hosts to supply a good stay. Very fair. I don't mind that at all. I want to supply a 5-star stay to all of my guests. However, in order to do that and to really maintain a nice premium listing, it costs more money. And because it costs more money, I have to raise my rates, right? So that's really where we are today in the world of Airbnb. And I don't know where you're at with this, but if you're interested in hosting on Airbnb, be sure to sign up with my link down in the description below, and you'll actually get $75 when you host your first stay. And I'll also get a little kickback too, so win-win here. Anyways, I kind of like to say when Airbnb started, it was the wild west of short-term rentals. When I got started in it about 5 years ago, I was in the 2.0 stage of Airbnb, which I consider the Wild West 2.0, very original name, where people just weren't quite so stringent, and they would come and they would stay, and then, you know, you could work things out, and guests weren't these tattletales to Airbnb, and then Airbnb wasn't this divider between hosts and guests, and we could work it out, and it was always just fine. I think the first 1 or 2 years of my short-term rental journey, I really just didn't have a lot of problems. It was a simpler time, okay? I'll be honest. This was actually before automations and all that kind of stuff, so I don't miss that, but it was a simpler time. So as we move on here, I do want to sort of get into the main differences between hotels and motels and Airbnbs. Anyways, 10 minutes has just passed between the 2 clips you just watched, and funny enough, I was dealing with a guest named Karen, but she's nice, she's nice. Except that she asked to speak to my manager, and I said, I am the manager. And she said, no, you didn't hear me correctly. I want to speak to your manager. And I was like, Barb?
You are not him. You are not him.
I haven't been in this situation. Generally speaking, hotels are side by side, right? You're in a building and there's usually anywhere from 50, mostly, right? If you're talking about a big hotel, 50 to 200 units in one single building. They're all inside. There's a hallway that connects all these different places. But for the most part, hotels are always next door to each other. Your front door to your neighbor can be anywhere from 5 to 10 feet away from your front door. Now, obviously motels are usually outside, but same concept, right? They're all next to each other, kind of like condos in a sense. Cleaners come by every day, so if you've had a rough night, you partied a lot, you're usually still in bed at like 9, 10 a.m. and then you hear, housekeeping, housekeeping. And you're like, oh, come back later. And then you leave and you come back and then your beds are made. That's a really nice amenity that hotels offer. And then also, obviously, there are certain amenities that are provided with nicer hotels too, right? Like a continental breakfast.
Can you believe this? It all comes with the room.
You might have to pay for it, but at least you have that option. You'll also have pools for sure, usually hot tubs, gyms that you'll never actually work out in, but you'll pack your shoes thinking that you are gonna work out in it, and then you'll never actually do it. And then you come home 10 pounds heavier.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Typically, a hotel is one bed, which can be a queen or a king, or you can book a double, which is 2 full beds, 2 queen beds, and maybe even 2 king beds, but it's all in a space that's like 150 to 200 square feet. Sometimes bigger, obviously I'm speaking in generalizations here. No kitchen, not in any one that I've ever been in, unless it's like a timeshare, but that's not really a hotel. And then they all have a uniform look. So you can book any place inside a hotel, and for the most part, all of those rooms are gonna look exactly the same. The only thing that might change is if your room has a certain type of view or not. Now, it's really hard to generally describe an Airbnb because there are so many different types of Airbnbs out there, but for the most part, generalizing here, an Airbnb is its own house or separate structure that gives you the privacy of booking a reservation in which you can stay in that reservation with everybody in your party. Now, obviously there are condo Airbnbs, there are townhome Airbnbs, but for the most part, Airbnbs are private spaces and they're highly curated. Now, of course, there are some that are not as nice or not as curated, but one of the things that I really like about Airbnb is that no two are the same. If you book a place in a hotel, more than likely, all those rooms are the same, minus a few small layout changes, but no two owners really own the same types of properties. But if you're trying to get an Airbnb in Denver, and every single Airbnb on the market is gonna look pretty significantly different just because it's curated based on the interior design and individual preferences of everyday hosts. Now we understand the general differences here. I don't think I really needed to explain that, but
Oh my God, I get it.
I think there's some people that they equate the two to being apples to apples, and it's just not true. They're just two very different types of businesses and structures and entities and concepts. So you really can't compare them, but for the sake of addressing a lot of the TikTok hate that I see, I mean, it's not just TikTok, it's really everywhere, but people on TikTok are salty, so I figured talk about why Airbnb is more expensive. I think that there's a really crazy misconception here that hosts are charging these crazy fees. Like, that's what I hear all the time. They're like, hosts are just upcharging guests and they have all these fees, and they got a cleaning fee, and they got a tax fee, and they got an occupancy fee, and they got this. It's just like, we don't get those fees. Most of the fees that you see on Airbnb are typically taxes. There's the transient taxes, they could be state taxes, city taxes, that's one, or occupancy taxes. We don't ever see that money. In fact, you pay that money to Airbnb, Airbnb collects it on my behalf as a host, and they remit it to the local municipality. So I actually never see any of that money. It's not like I just have any of that money in a slush fund just chilling, waiting to spend it, because that's what I like to do as an Airbnb host, is just take all your money and then, you know, I don't know. I really don't even understand the viewpoints on this stuff all the time, but just know that most of the fees you see, I don't collect. But what I do collect is a cleaning fee. Cleaning fees are the ones that people get so bent out of shape over because we charge them, right? And it's like, people are like, we have to pay $150, and then they have the audacity to ask us to throw our towels in the tub. How dare they? How could they do it, Caleb? I don't understand. I feel like that's my Adam Sandler impression. No? We'll workshop it. Anyways, the cleaning fee is something that I collect, and then I use that to pay my cleaners a fair living wage. Honestly, I don't really negotiate with my cleaners all that much. If a cleaner comes to me and they say, hey, I'm gonna charge you $100 for this, I'm not gonna say, could you do 90? And there's a lot of reasons I don't do that. I don't do that because if I don't give them the rate they feel they deserve, their heart's not gonna be into doing the job, and then I'm gonna start getting bad reviews. So for the most part, when a cleaner asks for a rate, if I like that rate, and if it's a fair rate, I pay that rate to them. Now, I will say on the flip side of this, there are a lot of hosts that do upcharge the cleaning fee. They might pay their cleaners $100, but actually charge $125. This is a philosophy out there with a lot of hosts. I'm gonna say I don't love to do that. That's not really a profit center for me. I want my price and my rate to be the best one possible. But there are a couple of properties that just run really expensive on the cleaning and the maintenance and the supplies, and I do upcharge the cleaning fee a hair. Not a lot, it's usually $5. So if the cleaner is charging me $80, I'm gonna probably charge $85. I'll make $5 a reservation, and I use that to buy things like toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, all that type of stuff. And I think that's fair, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know why? Because if you book my place, you booked it understanding every single cost and fee, and you said, hey, I'm okay with that. I could tell you that my cleaning fee is $200, and if it only cost me $100, theoretically, if you agree to that price, then there's nothing wrong with that. However, I don't like to do that. I don't really tell people to do that. I don't teach my students to do that. I like for people to be as close as they can to the cleaning fee. I'm kind of flexible on that. I'm not gonna fall on a sword one way or another, but for the most part, that's my philosophy. Now, getting into the actual chores chores that people get mad at whenever they're like, I can't believe they made me put my dishes in the dishwasher. I can't believe I have to put my towel in the washer machine. Like, I paid a cleaning fee. Okay, yeah, you pay a cleaning fee so that we can pay our cleaner to come clean it. That doesn't mean that you can be an asshole and leave your place dirty.
Oh, wow. I can't.
Oh, we're breaking the internet today. It's just relative common courtesy to tidy up and leave your place nice. If you go to a restaurant and then you order your food, do you just like leave your table a destroyed mess and then you're like, sorry, not my job, see ya? No, probably not, because you're not an asshole. And if you do, you are an asshole. I mean, it's just a matter, like, I don't care if it's not my job to clean it up. You still have the decency to pick up after myself. People who get mad at this simple concept are the same people that probably ordered popcorn at a movie theater and then spilled it on the ground and then left after the movie was over because they're like, they got guys that come in and sweep it up. Not my job. The guys that get paid $7.25 an hour, it's their job because they agreed to do it, right? But no, we are decent humans, so why not just pick up the popcorn and throw it away? Even if the popcorn doesn't fall on the ground, throw away the popcorn bag and the Coke. You don't have to leave it there. You can be a nice person.
I'm not ready. I don't think I can do it either. It's simply asking too much.
And that's really the premise behind hosts asking for you to do chores. Now, before everyone gets all mad in the comments, I do want to be upfront about what I ask my guests to do, and curious, I want to know if you genuinely think it's unfair for me to ask this. I'm going to read you the message that I send out to all of my guests, okay? Hi Karen, I hope all is well over at the casita. I just wanted to send out a quick reminder that checkout is at 10 a.m. tomorrow. My cleaner will be there promptly upon checkout as I am the first house on her route. Here are a few checkout instructions for tomorrow. 1. Please wash all dishes. 2. Leave all used towels in the tub. 3. Generally tidy up.
What did you say?
I truly hope you enjoyed your stay. Please come back soon. Rob. Let me just explain all those different things. 1, please wash all dishes. We don't have a dishwasher, and also people are gross. Like, the amount of dishes that a place can have is nasty, and you are an adult. If you're booking my place, just wash your dishes. Really, I mean, if I have a dishwasher, I'll typically ask people to just put it in the dishwasher. I mean, I just think that dishes are so nasty that you should be handling your own business. That's probably my one hot take here. I'm like, sorry, please wash your dishes. 2, leave all used towels in the tub. That way we know what towels are used. And 3, generally tidy up. I'm not asking you to clean up the place. I'm not asking you to mop. I'm not asking you to wipe up your counters. I just want you to leave it looking like a tornado didn't just destroy my place. I've had guests that leave boxes everywhere. They leave slime on the counters. There's confetti everywhere. Pillows are on the ground. Couches turned over, and it's just like, oh man, those are like the worst guests. I just want you to attempt to not look like a slob. I want you to throw away your trash in the trash can. That's really what generally tidying up means, that if there's trash that you've accumulated, throw it away. Don't just leave it everywhere because it's someone else's job. Just be a decent human. I think that's fair. Here's what this really boils down to, guys. Cleaners are some of the nicest, hardest working people in the world. Truly, they are the nicest people. They are working hard to provide for their family. And the last thing that I really want is for my cleaner to show up and call me in tears, because that has happened before, and that's never a fun conversation. And my cleaner never reports to me when something is like horrible unless she absolutely has to. In those moments, it's just a really hard conversation because they're like, this isn't what we signed up for. So I just try to help mitigate the types of messes that guests are leaving behind so that I have a happy cleaner, so that they're happy to clean the place, so that I have a clean place, that when you stay at my place, it's clean, it's fresh, and it smells nice. Okay, so now let's get back into the cleaning fees side of it and the fact that we charge it. Yes, we do charge it. This isn't just something that we pocket for the most part. Again, there are some hosts out there that do, but hotels just have certain efficiencies at scale that hosts don't have. If they're 50, 100, 200 units, they can hire full-time cleaners. And because they're hiring full-time cleaners, they can just afford to have them cleaning on a full-time basis. And it's just way more economical for them at scale. So that's just a cost of running business for them. And a lot of these hotels are just that. They're businesses, they're corporations, they're really big companies with investors that can afford to do that stuff. Whereas the everyday host, for the most part, and even like small-time investors like me, we're still small businesses that can't afford to do that. And thus we can't just pay a cleaner a salary and it doesn't make sense. That is something that's just part of the reservation you have to pay for. I'm sorry. And guess what? If you don't like it, there's this crazy little feature on your browser when you're on the Airbnb website. If you're on a Mac, at the top left corner, there's a red circle with an X in it. If you click that, it'll actually exit you from the Airbnb website, and then you don't have to book a reservation. It's crazy. I can't believe technology is advanced this much, but it's true. You can just not use the Airbnb website and then book a hotel if that's what you want. So that hopefully gives you my POV, and that's like the idea behind cleaning fees. Next reason why Airbnbs are more expensive is that they have kitchens. And in these kitchens, you can physically choose to cook a meal. You can choose to cook a meal for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. And when you do those those three things, that stops you from having to go out and eat at a restaurant. You have the option to have a kitchen where you can cook a home-cooked meal. You can book a reservation with a group of people. Everyone can pitch in for groceries. You guys can all cook and eat around a dinner table and make memories together. That is not an option you have at a hotel. Airbnbs, for the most part, also have multiple rooms, as in more than one. There are one-bedroom Airbnbs, and that's fine. That you can make an argument there if you really want to, but Airbnbs, for the most part, the majority, if you just add them all up, the majority are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6-bedroom homes. Like, those make up the majority of Airbnbs as a bundle. One-bedroom stuff, a smaller subset when you compare it to the amount that's more than one bedroom. And because of that, you have more private spaces, and you can fit more people in an Airbnb. So that means a lot more people can sleep under the same roof and enjoy each other's company. And they have options to book places with multiple bathrooms. You have 2, 3, 4 bathroom options that you can book, and that's still probably gonna be cheaper than if your entire party decides to book individual rooms at a hotel. And when I say probably, I mean most definitely. Let's just math this out, for example. Let's find a place in LA, let's say Los Angeles hotel, and let's just see what the going rate is. All right, so the going rate is going to be $155 for the Hilton. So let's just say you wanna book a 3-night stay there. It's $161 a night. $161 for a king room, $170. If you get a double, 4 people can sleep in this room. And that means that everyone is just making the sacrifice to sleep in a small room. But if you find an Airbnb, okay, so let's find a place that's like decent. This is a good area. This is Mar Vista, 333, 298. I'll go 333. I'll find something in the middle here. How many rooms is this? Okay, 3 bedrooms, 6 guests. Right? So 3 nights are gonna cost you $348. It's $1,044. Plus your cleaning fee, $170, which is pretty good. And then service fee, $171. I got the service credit here, so we'll just call it $13.85. $13.85 divided by 6 guests is gonna come out to $230 a person. That's really not bad, but you're getting a whole entire home that has a kitchen, that has 3 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms. Not the greatest Airbnb listing, but I'm just kind of shooting off the cuff here, right? Let's say you're with 6 people, 3 couples, and each of those couples want their own room, then you'd have to go and pay $175 times 3. But guess what? This hotel right here also has taxes and fees, $28. So $203.36 is what you would have to pay for one room. If no one wanted to share a hotel rooms per night, you'd have to pay $609 roughly to get 3 hotel rooms for 3 sets of people. Or you could book this Airbnb right here. So let's just take this total count right here, $1350 divided by 3. That costs $450 a night to book this place, meaning that each couple would pay $150 per night. So in this instance, it's actually more expensive to book a hotel. Maybe the couples are willing to share the space and they can each have a bed and a bed. But remember, even if that makes this hotel cheaper in comparison to the Airbnb I just showed you, they are now having to share that tiny space, share the bathroom, no kitchen, and it's all next to other hotels and it's not the most private experience. Or everybody could just hang out under the same roof here and it actually ends up being cheaper for the group. Now I don't really want to get into like, you cherry pick, but I literally just chose the first of each one of these. So I'm not here to really try to drive home the point that Airbnbs are cheaper than hotels or are not. I'm just saying, when you really math it out, it's pretty comparable from a price standpoint. However, I feel like what you get from an Airbnb is a lot more valuable. Anyways, wrapping that point up, when you really think about it, hotels aren't necessarily cheaper. They just give you one bundled price, whereas Airbnbs give you a price breakdown of all the fees. And so when you see that, automatically it makes you angry and you're mad. You're still paying those fees with the hotel. They're just tricking you into thinking you're not because you get one beautiful price. But if you just think about it with a level head, it's the same thing. Just don't look at the breakdown. You'll be fine. Just think about all the times that you've had a friend book an Airbnb for you and they said, hey Caleb, I just booked this Airbnb for 6 people, you owe me $250. There's never been a time where that person was like, hold on, of the money I owe you, could you please break down the cleaning fee, the occupancy fee, the service fee? I want to know all that before I pay you. No, you don't care because you were given the one fee at the time, so it doesn't matter. So if you can just see past that, you'll realize that it's all semantics and it doesn't really matter. People just want to find something to be mad about.
Number 1, how dare you?
And here's where we will wrap up today's video, okay? Airbnbs are not meant to be cheap, okay? Maybe when they got started and it was truly air mattress B&B where you could book someone's living room floor for 20 bucks, yeah, that was cheap. And guess what? It was shitty. You were sleeping on someone's air mattress. Do you want to sleep on someone's air mattress now? Or do you want a nice place with nice reviews with decent amenities in a good location? Airbnb is no longer a place to get a cheap stay. You know why? Because if you want a nice stay, it's gonna cost you money. And yeah, maybe it is more expensive than a hotel. Fine, but consider what you're getting getting from an Airbnb experience that you're not getting from a hotel. If you don't want any of that stuff that you might get from an Airbnb experience, you don't care about the kitchen, if you don't care about having 2 or 3 bedrooms, then don't book it. Go book a hotel. You can go and do that. You have the power to speak up. You have the power to not book a place on Airbnb. When your friends want to book a bachelor party or a wedding party or whatever, and they want to book a place as a group, you have the power to say, don't want to do that. I'm gonna stay at a hotel. I'm actually not gonna stay at the Airbnb with the group. I'm sorry. I hate Airbnb. I hate the fees. You guys are good to pay the fees. I'm gonna go stay at the Motel 6 because it's $138 and they gave me one price. They gave me one price. They didn't have all the service fees. Y'all are idiots, okay? I'm not crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. You know what? I don't even want to go, okay? I don't want to go. Bye. See ya. You're gonna be that guy. You wanna be that guy? You don't wanna be that guy. You don't wanna be a Chad. Don't be a Chad. Like, how are you feeling? Sorry, I get all, oh man, I've been attacked on TikTok for like far too long and I'm just like, shut up, dude. Just listen to yourself. Airbnbs are not meant to be hotels. They are not meant to be cheaper than hotels, and that's what this comes down to. I bought a $3.25 million mansion in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hell no, that is not the same thing as booking a hotel. Guess what? That mansion is gonna run anywhere from $1,700 to $2,500 a night, and you're gonna get a 6,000 square foot place with the pool and 8 bathrooms. And guess what? If you actually go with a group of 18 people or 20 people and you divide that by the 20 people, that's still gonna be so much cheaper, Caleb, than booking 20 hotel rooms. Because if you break it down, that's the truth. So stop trying to compare hotels and Airbnb. They're not apples to apples. They're apples to oranges. They're two very different things. Ultimately, it comes down to preference and what you want. And what I want is for people to subscribe to this channel and like it and leave a comment and let me know. Did I fire you up? You mad? You mad, bro? Who did I make mad? Let me know. And also, do you agree? Let me know. All right, that's it. Oh, also, if you want to sign up for HostCamp, don't forget to book a call with my team over at hostcamp.com to see if my 12-month mentorship program is right for you. We teach you how to start your Airbnb business from the ground up and hopefully help you differentiate yourself from the typical, ugly, stupid, devil hotel industry. All right, see you guys next week. Bye.